Welcome back to another episode of The Internal Journey. I'm your host, Cam Knight, author of several best-selling books in the area of mental and human performance. Today, I want to talk about the future of the internal journey, not just for you or me, but all humankind. So at the end of last year, a good friend sent me a video about the future of artificial intelligence and how it will affect society and humanity as we know it. The video centered around the release of ChatGPT. You know, that AI writing and coding tool that has literally taken the world by storm? As a writer and author, my stomach sank when I saw what this technology could do. Writing papers and essays with perfect spelling and grammar in seconds. Not days, hours, or minutes, but within seconds. I thought to myself, my author career is over. It took more than 15 years to develop and refine my writing skills, and ChatGPT's responses to questions and prompts were not only thoughtful as someone with decades of experience on the topic, but extremely well written. I thought to myself, if the technology is this good now, in a year or two, it's going to be that much better. In a short time, it will be able to write books, and the book industry will become saturated with books written by ChatGPT and other AI writing tools, and then it would be nearly impossible for humans to keep up. I saw this not just for the book industry, but so many other industries like search engine marketing. Will Google still be relevant in a few years? Computer programming, as it can write computer code and extremely well. Teachers, professors, and other academics, as what is the point of them if ChatGPT's knowledge and answers are mind-bogglingly more vast? To be honest, I really went down a spiral worrying about ChatGPT and the challenges of humanity. Like the beginning of the end was here for us all. All of these jobs will be replaced, and AI will do most anything that humans can in the very near future. In fact, last week I felt sick, and I believe it was from the anxiety about the potential for this technology, especially on my career. While I was sick, my head was all over the place. You know how your thoughts drift in 100 different places, and you start thinking about things you normally wouldn't, and at times even surprise yourself that you had those thoughts, that those thoughts were actually created by your own mind? Well, I had a lot of those around ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. And on the second night of my sickness, for a brief moment, my mind stopped becoming so afraid and saw the positive possibilities and how the future of ChatGPT and AI can actually help humanity and in ways we humans can't ourselves, and not just on an individual level, but on a societal and global level. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. As humans, we have a lot of challenges that make being human, well, challenging. One is that we are run and driven by emotions. Some might argue that our emotions are a gift and what truly make us human. I agree to a certain extent. The problem is that emotions can make something that is not real seem real and have us acting and behaving as if it is real. They can convince us someone doesn't like us when they have no opinion, that something is difficult when it really isn't, that a stranger is dangerous when they are completely safe, or that someone will be a bad mate when they will be great, and the opposite of all these. The reason emotions are like that is because our emotions are based on predictions. Your brain makes predictions about people, situations, environments, and events, and based on those predictions, releases corresponding emotions. For example, you're walking down the street in the middle of the night and see someone that looks kind of sketchy. Based on their sketchiness, the brain will release feelings of fear, so you walk in a different direction. Or the brain might interpret the person as attractive and instead flood your body with euphoric feelings to encourage you to go approach him or her. The person might not be sketchy or attractive, yet those emotions are still released. These are simple examples, but our emotions can get quite complex. For example, you might misinterpret what someone says or does, and that trigger anger, and in that anger, do something that you regret. Or your emotions can convince you that a service will be a good deal or more enjoyable to use when it really won't. Most conversations break down because one person's mind is predicting that the other person is saying one thing when they are not. Future iterations of ChatGPT and AI as a whole can fill these gaps. It can help us manage our emotions so we don't do things that we regret, or check our emotions so we don't misinterpret people and situations. Though it can help us beyond that. If we experience emotions of hurt and rejection, it can soothe us and say the right thing to feel better. In fact, when we are hurt or rejected, what the brain is looking for is affirmation. It wants to know that it will be okay, and this tool can give us the right affirmation we need in the right moment. If we are overly aroused, it can calm us down. We can learn all the emotional intelligence in the world, though it's hard to realize when we're in a strong emotion. But AI by our side can help us weave these intense reactions. Another challenge of being human is that we have an overly hyper and unrestrained wanting mechanism. Most people don't realize we have a mechanism that creates wants, and it's endlessly creating wants one after another. It sees someone wearing a nice shirt, it wants it. It sees someone with a pretty girlfriend, it wants that too. A nice car drives by, it wants that as well. This mechanism's only job is to create wants, and for most of us, it is relentlessly creating endless wants and desires. The wanting mechanism doesn't understand that our time, energy, and resources are limited. It simply creates wants. It creates more wants in a month than one person can achieve in multiple lifetimes. So our mind is constantly creating wants and the pain associated with not having that want, which can be very distracting. The future of ChatGPT can help keep our wants in check. If you're working on a project or goal and the mechanism creates a desire for something else, it will remind you of your prior commitment. If there's a possibility that you are overcommitting, it will warn you so you don't put so much on your plate and burn out too quickly. If you have shiny object syndrome, which is what an out of control wanting mechanism really is, AI can keep you on the straight and narrow. Some of the other challenges of being human arises from our upbringing and the traumas we're carrying from our upbringing. Every one of us, no matter our sex, social or economic status, or skin color, has experienced trauma. Some more than others, some a lot more than others. These past experiences are affecting our day-to-day decisions and actions right here and right now, whether or not we realize it. For example, a teacher might have told you that your writing is no good, and you unconsciously accepted that you're a bad writer and now avoid professions that require a strong command of the written language. This is a small, minor example, but trauma and its effects can be a lot more severe and extreme. Future versions of ChatGPT can help resolve these past traumas and the poor decisions we are making because of them. In addition to helping us talk our decisions through and determining where our fear about the decision is coming from, it can help us regress to past moments to see how our unconscious interpreted those moments in ways they are affecting you today. It can give you the exact phrases, mantras, exercises, scripts, and therapy that you specifically need to get over these hurdles. A person never need worry about a job loss because ChatGPT can help him or her work through the emotional response to the loss. Losing a job creates so many anxieties and unknowns. Will I find another one? Will it be better? Will my skills be a match? Will the pay be at my level? And so on. AI can help deal and manage the emotional effects of these unknowns so people who've lost their jobs don't fall into despair. At the same time, it can find new opportunities for them. Its far-reaching access to the neural net can quickly find the perfect opportunity. Based on knowing you, what you like and don't like, and setting certain parameters, it will connect to the neural net and go on the hunt for the perfect job that are open and available right now and that you can start at the time that you set. For society to function, we need media that not only shares knowledge, but keeps us on top of current events. For a long time, that was done through town hall meetings, then the newspaper, then with the invention of the radio, and finally television, and now smartphones. Unfortunately, our media currently is a root of division and hate. There's so much anger and violence being propagated from not just social media, but even mainstream media, that we've become a polarized society. Democrat versus Republican, abortion versus free choice, gun control versus gun rights, men versus women, and so on. It's like there's no middle ground, and if you accept one side, you have to hate the other with all your might. I personally believe media has conditioned us to behave this way. These conflicts are premeditated by people in power and those that profit from media to trigger strong emotions in us and rile us up. The more triggered we are, the more we consume and interact with the media, whether it's with Twitter tweets, Facebook posts, Yahoo comments, and YouTube videos. The more we consume and interact with media, the more these companies make money. This might sound a little out there, but I will go as far as to say that most conflicts nowadays are no longer reported, but rather manufactured. Peace is not profitable, and media companies need large-scale decisions, disasters, and deaths to keep us in fear and hooked on screens, as it makes them so much money. If you haven't noticed, over the past few decades, news has become more and more emotive, meaning networks are not just reporting the news, but in an emotionally charged and almost combative way. They are much louder and have more anger in their voice, and that tone seeps into our unconscious and starts making us angry without realizing why we're angry or what we're angry about, or what the reporter is even saying, and if it makes any sense. What if the future of ChatGPT and AI didn't do that? What if it didn't focus on riling us up and polarizing us, but simply reporting facts and events and brought us together to provide relief to the people in areas that needed it? The biggest challenge of humans is our need and drive for power, which Friedrich Nietzsche, the famous German philosopher and thinker, coined the will to power. More or less, we humans and most life on this planet are power-seeking creatures, and most everything we do in one way or another, we do to increase our status and influence over others. This is playing out on many levels, in the macro global scale, in the micro group settings, and everything in between. Anytime you put down someone's idea without actually hearing them out, anytime you one up what someone says, or anytime you play devil's advocate, that's a power play. You are trying to gain or maintain status over them. A lot of this is happening unconsciously. We may think we're doing something to be nice and generous, but it's really to improve how we look and increase our social value within a group. This drive is so unconscious and deeply ingrained in us, it even fools ourselves. So much so, Friedrich Nietzsche even said, "As is will to power, as is my theory," meaning he's putting forth the idea more to establish his authority as a great thinker than for noble intentions. In fact, much of what is happening in media is a product of humans' drive for power. The people who own or run these companies are using it to control our decisions and actions for their own benefit and to raise their influence. So how do we manage a species and hence a society where everyone on one level or another is constantly competing for power? And most of the time, they're not aware of it, or worse, they believe their power play is an attempt to do good, and with some willing to take any measure to attain that power. I think this is one of the biggest challenges of humanity and something humanity itself can't regulate. History has shown over and over that giving a certain group power to regulate humans hasn't been very effective. It leads to corruption, backstabbing, and more. However, the future AI can, if coded correctly, not have any interest to have one human do better over another. Imagine a business executive so focused on getting to the next level, he's willing to crush and step on anyone. Not just his own employees, but other companies. Instead, AI can help him rethink his drive and help him see where that drive is coming from. Maybe his determination isn't a determination for success, money, or power, but in reality, intimacy. The executive has low self esteem and feels he needs to be successful, show success, and that he can provide to draw and attract a mate. Instead of feeding the drive for more power, the tool can help him see what he really wants and that there's a better way to fulfillment than more of what he already has. That evening, the executive leaves the office and as he leaves, crosses paths with a woman, the type of woman to whom he is attracted. The encounter is not random but orchestrated by the AI. Both were lonely and looking for the type of person the other is, and through a series of carefully chosen events, the AI brings them together. This brings us to the next topic, which is relationships. Relationships are tough. Not only is it tough to find a good partner, but it hurts when the relationship breaks down and one person leaves or moves on. Hopefully, AI can help us weave through these difficult challenges of relationships. As mentioned, it can help bring the right people into our life when we want or need them. It's hard to say how long a relationship will last or how long one person can be fulfilling, but when it's time to move on, AI can not only help us part ways, but find another partner. Also, as mentioned, communication is a big challenge with humans, and AI can help bridge that communication gap. At the same time, if a person has a tendency to be abusive, it can prevent that from coming out and make his or her communication come out in a more sound and acceptable way. This can be applied on a grander scale. As humans, many of our desires and emotions can become a runaway process. We get something we want, like money or power, and then we either want more or to hold on to it for dear life. When I was in Finland, I stayed with a Finnish family, and the mother described an indisputable human quality. She said, "We humans like to move up in rank or lifestyle, but not down. We don't like to give up the level or status we have. It's an ingrained trait of the human condition, so much so that we will often fight or use whatever means necessary to maintain our level." This especially applies to our leaders. When they gain power, they don't want to give it up and in fact want more. That drive can cloud what they are already doing, who they are hurting, and what they are becoming to keep or gain that power. AI can be a vessel to help our leaders see other possibilities and that there are ways to fulfillment that doesn't require destruction and gaining control over others or their rights. It can create a society where we don't have to always be on guard and solely look after our own interests because AI will make sure that our interests are always met. It can even bring our leaders together in proactive conversation. Imagine all the leaders of the world sitting around a table, each wearing a headpiece, so when one leader speaks, AI perfectly translates to every other leader in their own language in real time. Well, that's my rant about ChatGPT and the future of humanity and artificial intelligence. It might be too optimistic, forward-thinking, or just plain too out there. However, the goal of OpenAI, the company that released ChatGPT and other AI tools like DALL-E, is to align AI with human intention and values and to make it safe and beneficial to humans. So it might not be too far-fetched of an idea. When I came back from my travels and journey of growth and healing, I wanted to bring a lot of the knowledge discussed in this episode to people and create a broader dialogue. However, I was surprised to find many weren't interested. Hopefully, AI might come across this episode and find it helpful. Who knows? What I do know is likes, subscribes, and comments help. So if you liked what you heard, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps more than you know. Until next time.